It's Tony Tattoo coming at you from the Kildares Pub in the deep southwest of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And this is Wideopenyyc. Today I want to talk about something that's been disturbing me, that's been in the news, and it's a common theme, and it happens all the time, which I really don't get, I don't understand, is mothers leaving their kids in hot cars. Or people leaving their pets in hot cars. But first I want to talk about leaving your children in hot cars. First of all, what are you thinking? All right? If you really
Happy
want
birthday to you.
Oh, look at that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony Tattoo. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Yeah, hopefully.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, action.
Leaving kids in hot cars. And I really think that you people, if you want to drag your kids off to the Walmart or wherever the fuck it is you shop, first of all, just I don't think your head's in the game. It's like, why? How is it possible you can leave a whole human being in the back of your car unless you intentionally did it? That I can understand, because it just shows you what a self-centered fucking twat you really are. All right? So, just leave the kid in the car, you don't care about the kid. And what I like about this story is that saner minds prevailed. They had somebody call it in, the cops showed up, and she comes wandering out with her bags, and they're going, "Excuse me, ma'am, is this your kid? Is this your car, first of all? Is this your kid?" And she goes on to explain, well, the car was running and the air conditioning was on. And it's like, who gives a flying fuck if the car was running, the air conditioning's on? What are you trying to do? Kill your kid with carbon monoxide while you're at it? So that's not quite as disturbing as the results and the information that is coming from the experts. The experts go, you know what you should do? You should actually put something valuable in the back seat along with your kid, like your purse or your cell phone, to remind you that your kid is in the back seat. Now that is some fucked up advice, because what's more valuable than your kid? Anywho, I think that basically we should take the old school approach, and I think these people should get the phone book and the pillowcase routine and get beat about the head until they get their freaking facts, until they get their shit straight. Don't leave your fucking kids in the car. Don't leave your animals in the car. Don't leave your dog in the car. Don't leave your cat in the car. Don't leave your lemurs in the car. Don't leave your tapirs in the car. Don't leave your boa constrictor in the car. Don't leave your tarantulas in the car. But most of all, don't leave your kids in the car. What do you think about that, Dave? Was I too harsh?
No, it's not. I want to go a step further and say that anybody caught doing that, not only should they not be allowed to have children anymore, those kids should be taken away from them,
Absolutely.
along with their driver's license.
Absolutely. Exactly, because these people are totally irresponsible.
100%.
Like, they're not competent. They're not competent to be parents.
No.
Or people, for that matter. Yeah. Anyway, I want to lighten things up a little bit, Dave.
Okay.
All right, Brad Pitt. He thinks he's aging, he's getting too old for the film business. He's going to stand behind the camera, produce a bit. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Jack Nicholson, Brad? I mean, you have a lot of good shtick in you yet. That's what I think. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think he's just done one with that other idiot, DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo Retardo DiCaprio. Yeah, it's global warming, man. Meanwhile, I'll jet everywhere and take a cruise ship or take my own yacht everywhere, which, by the by, runs on fossil fuel. Fuck you. Sad news, Dave. I got some sad news.
What's that?
In the entertainment world, Demi Lovato announces she's taking a break from social media. First of all, I don't know who Demi Lovato is, and I didn't know she was on social media. But she claims that it's because of a feud that was happening between Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. Who the fuck names their kid Scooter?
I don't know if it's his birth name, but yeah, I understand your point.
It's dope. It's dopey. Like Scooter. It's like I can see Skeeter. Like if you're a politician, Hello, Skeeter here. I'm in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, and Skeeter is the name, and you know, like somebody who's got way too much money to be real.
Well, that's him.
Yeah. What's up with Taylor Swift? How come she can't hold a man, Dave?
Well, I mean, I'm not a love psychologist, but I would think because she's all about herself.
Yeah. But yeah. Or do you think she just she's found a formula where she'll take some poor slob, drag him through the mire, and fucking, you know, and then give her fodder to write songs?
I would hope not, Tony. I think it has really just worked out that way, and you know, hey, great tool, I guess, if you're that way. But I just think that she's so into herself and her life. Not to say that she's conceited, but I think she is anyways. But
Oh, totally.
how could you fit a person into that life unless you're her?
Yeah, but you know what? I think it boils back to some. I mean, she is talented. She is a talent. Although I don't really know much of her songs, but because I don't really care. Because she actually won a song contest called American Idol, and they've had a few people come off that have done good for themselves. I mean, you got Adam Lambert has done, singing with Queen now, and he's a talent. But I think she's got really faulty wiring.
Guaranteed.
I really did.
But then, you know, stars of her stature, you know, who doesn't?
Right. What happens when she becomes irrelevant, like Madonna?
Well, then who knows what's happening with Madonna?
Yeah, which is a good point. And you know, I bang on Madonna a bit, and only for one reason is that, you know, and we brought it up in another show that, you know, she's trying to keep herself relevant by doing a new album and kind of trying to recreate or reinvent herself. I said, Madonna, booby, leave your kid Rocco in Portugal. You got your handlers. He's got great caretakers there. He's going to be a great football star one day, I'm sure, or not, or maybe you just can't cut it, whatever. But I tell you what would be a great idea for you would be take up a residency in Las Vegas and do all your show, do all the stuff you've done that you were so brilliant at, and maybe through that medium you could probably reinvent yourself. Hey, what do you think?
Not a bad idea.
That's what I thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and she'd get a residency like that. You know, it's like, you know, Celine Dion's ready to move on, and you know, Shania Twain, she's doing it right now, and everybody's doing it. So Aerosmith's doing it.
Yeah, Lady Antebellum. You know, bands with kids who want to stay in one place for a year.
Perfect.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we recently did a bit. Dan's Rant. He did a bit about dodgeball and how there's a faction out there, or the government or somebody said that, you know, dodgeball is nothing but a medium or a game that is invented or created to ensure that that there's a hierarchy or a pecking order of kids, and you're either good or you're bad, and if you're bad at it, it's kind of an enslavement thing, which is completely ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, because it's just a fucking game. But it is the greatest game in the world, and for kids in the formative years. And you know why, Dave?
I do, but I'll let you tell your audience.
Okay, well, you either agree or disagree. Dodgeball, it teaches you to pay attention, for one thing, all right? Which is right now, I mean, kids paying attention is far and few between that kids pay attention to anything, because this is the generation right here, right? You know, people walking a lamppost, get hit by cars, whatever. And it helps cognitive and reflex functions in kids during the formative years, right? The best way to avoid a punch, Dave, is what?
Duck.
Yeah, don't be there.
Move, don't be there.
Don't be there, right? And the number one rule for boys to men, Dave, what is it?
Protect your nutsack.
Protect your balls, right? Exactly. Number one rule, okay? So it's a great game for formative years. It teaches you a lot of things that you really don't think about. Stampede time in Calgary, Dave. Woo! Yahoo! Stampede time. Dave, if you didn't really have to be here in Calgary, would you, for Stampede?
No.
No. We both went through the Stampede grind. You know, back when we worked for a corporation, we'd had our blackout days because, well, Stampede is about the greatest show on earth and the rodeo and all that stuff. But the rodeo is only a small part of it. It's basically 2 weeks of drinking, drugging, sex. You know, it's like not that I'm trying to sell the whole thing. It sells itself, right? So it's okay. People sleeping with people they don't know. STDs go up through the roof, and very little of the rodeo actually goes on. But it really coined the phrase, Dave. If you can rope her, you can ride her.
Here you go. Save a horse.
That's right. Ride a cowboy. Woo! There we go. Anyway, we have a great show coming up for you today. We've got footy talk. We've got all kinds of things. The girls are ready to play in No Limits. And we would like to invite you guys to really watch our show on YouTube. Invite your friends to watch the show. We would like to bring people on the show, and we do have something really cool, Dave, that's kind of simmering in the background. You want to know what it is?
I do.
Okay, well, we're going to have a personality from the Cayman Islands that's going to join us on she's going to FaceTime us, and we're going to be able to film her down, or be able to shoot her down the Cayman Islands. She's a big personality in the Cayman Islands, and let me tell you, we're going to be looking forward to that after Dave has done his vacation, because so we're not going to be filming next week or shooting next week because we all do have personal lives, we all have stuff to do. Which is why it's more important that you guys let everybody know to join us for conversations on Twitter and Instagram, and also Facebook, please. Facebook is kind of like, it's our generation's way of communicating back and forth. We don't get Twitter or Instagram as much, but Facebook is our medium. So you millennials or Generation Zs, dial it back a bit and get involved with us on Facebook. And like I said, we've got a great show coming up for you. Go Stampede.
Well, how are you? It's July 9th today. This is Dan Drant, and this week I saw some people online freaking out that Ariel, in the new live-action Little Mermaid film that Disney is coming out with, the casting choice was that of a black woman. Why the fuck do you care? It's a children's film and you're arguing about a fucking casting choice. Is there really nothing else going on in your life? It's so funny because there's this third wave of reaction that's coming out because the young people are like, who gives a fuck? She can sing really well, who cares? And these old people who are like, this really upsets me because Hans Christian Andersen was Danish and should be a Danish person in there, or at least a white person. And these are the same old people who call the young people snowflakes, and they get upset over every little thing, yet they're fucking ranting and raving online about a casting choice for a children's film. Seems kind of hypocritical to me, and there's one thing I hate in this world, it's hypocrites. To be fair to these elderly complaining people, I remember the last couple Halloweens, little Caucasian girls not being allowed to dress up as Esmeralda or Moana or any other princess or character of a different nationality because of cultural appropriation. And there were some young people getting upset and saying, well, you can't dress up as somebody from somebody else's culture and their history. That's cultural appropriation. It is offensive to those people, blah, 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 blah. Yet these are the same people who are applauding and not being upset about a black woman playing a Danish character from a Danish fairy tale. Shouldn't that also be cultural appropriation? I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a children's movie casting choice, so I really don't give a fuck, but I want to get that question out there and that thought process and ball rolling on that. Whereas if you're going to be upset over cultural appropriation for Caucasians dressing as different nationalities and being casted in Hollywood whitewashing films, should you not also be upset when the converse happens? I'll leave that up to you. Tell me about it in the comments section, and we'll talk civilly about it this time.
Hi kids, welcome to Footy Talk. How y'all doing? We're great here. How you doing, Dan?
Fantastic.
Great.
I think I could kick the ball a million miles. I got my steel toes on today.
Holy crap.
Are steel toes allowed on the pitch? Are they allowed,
I don't think
to pad their
so.
toes to kick the ball farther?
I don't know. It's not like foil on the gloves,
Oh.
which isn't allowed either.
So if somebody got caught with that, they'd be in big trouble?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like putting a rock in your boot and then kicking the ball and breaking someone's leg.
I've done that in a fight.
I'm sure you have.
Oh, 15 guys against me. I had to.
Well, yeah, you're defending yourself. What are we doing here?
I don't know. World Cup, I think.
So Cavalry are doing very well, won the spring championship, and last game on the 6th of July they beat Pacific 3-2, so they're getting a good start in the fall.
Now, I think, were we resting some guys there, or are we starting to see some blips on the Cavalry radar?
I don't know.
Our team's starting to kind of figure us out, and
The big names are still in, doing pretty well, aren't they? Who are we missing?
well, not missing really anybody, but I'm just, okay, so we go like 9 matches undefeated, and now, we lose, and we're having close ones, and now, we're starting to see our team starting to kind of come around, because it looked like this whole league was going to be a runaway.
Yeah. I think teams are just starting to feel more comfortable in their own skins, and it's going to happen. Teams get to know your style, they get to know your players, and much like hockey, and Mr. Wieldham's probably changing things up a little bit just to
I think
make things
the
interesting.
break came to just the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing well there, and tomorrow we play the Whitecaps. We play Vancouver, first leg of this round of the championship, which is going to be fun.
Now, Vancouver, when we beat you, try not to burn down your city this time. Right?
Ooh!
What? They did it twice. Once is an accident, twice is you're just like setting shit on fire.
I wonder how Cavalry are going to feel when they play the second leg in Vancouver, because I was staying right across from BC Place when Tony and I went to see concert a week ago, and that's a big stadium, so it's going to be interesting to see how they.
Old and cold, and it smells like blood, as my high school coach used
Is
to
that
say.
right?
He played in the CFL. He said that was his favorite stadium to play in.
Really?
Because you can smell the stale beer and blood on the floor.
Oh wow! Well, Cavalry will probably enjoy that.
Yeah, we're rough and tumble.
Yeah, get in there. Yeah.
Not as rough and tumble as those ladies south of the border. They win again.
Yeah, congrats to the US team, although I don't like some of their shenanigans when they're not playing football.
Oh, come on. If you were in English, the sip in the tea was genius.
It was bollocks.
I love a good chirp.
It was bollocks.
I love a good chirp.
Bollocks.
That was fantastic.
And I didn't like the way when they won 13 against Cameroon, they just made a meal out of every goal.
Yeah.
It's just bad sportsmanship
Now,
in my opinion.
in tournament, goal differential matters. You got to put up 13.
Yeah.
As many as you can, because you never know how it's going to play out. But you don't need to whoop it up.
Yeah.
If
'Cause
you're
it's-
going to, at least be clever, like the cheese sip. It's clever. I liked it. I wasn't cheering for him, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Mean.
They should have pulled out like a 1776 tattoo or something like that.
Had a couple of good back and forths with some American friends during that whole thing. It was, and they did bring up 1776 too. It was pretty funny. Well done. The best team won, obviously, and it's great. Great that women's football is on the up and up and up and up and up. It's great.
Yeah. So dominant champion to another dominant champion. Joey Chestnut won again on July 4th. He is now considered, he's got to be, one of the most dominant athletes of our time.
Who's Joey Chestnut?
He's the Nathan's Hot Dog 4th of July eating champion.
That's considered a sport?
He trains year-round. He alters his body to operate at peak optimum ability and capability. And it's a competition.
It's gross.
Well, you could say that about women's rugby.
No.
Oh, the big old gals wrestling each other.
Now. No, there's a difference between women's rugby and shoveling a whole bunch of hot dogs down your neck.
The women's rugby players and every athlete train year-round, condition their body to perform at peak conditions and optimum ability, and they're competitive in a competition state. You could say that about strippers, you could say that about hot dog eaters, you could say that about hockey players, soccer players, anything. Joey Chestnut is an athlete, and he and Serena Williams, probably the most dominant athletes of our time.
Well, I agree with you about Serena, but the Nathan's hot dog guy,
Yeah.
bullshit.
He eats like over 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
That's not a sport, it's gross.
If any one of us tried that, we would die.
Apples and oranges.
Oh, no, he doesn't eat apples and oranges, hot dogs. Are you paying attention?
Hot dogs and plant protein.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Don't listen to her. I love you, Joey.
Listen to me.
You're an American hero, and I salute you, sir.
Oh my lord.
Keep mounting down,
Awful.
Joey. Jaws.
Horrid.
Man's a champion.
Oh, it just makes me want to vomit. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Do you want the football funny of the day?
Lay it on me.
Okay. What did the manager do when the pitch became flooded? Come on, Dan, you can get this one.
What did the manager do? He sent in the dry reserves.
No, try again. You're on the right.
My
No.
manager's, what do you want there, Mr. Producer?
Sent in the sub.
Yay!
Yeah, the reserves. You got it, just different language.
No, the reserves are the reserve team.
No, I'm totally
They're the
smart
second
enough.
team.
No, I'm smart. I got it. Totally.
Bullshit. So it's Stampede Week here as well, and I did a little digging to see if they had any kind of soccer related things going on down there, and they do.
No, see, when the Cowboys get stepped on by a 1,200-pound bull, they're actually hurt. It's not like one of those like kicks on the wrist and like those Italian floppers.
Not in my dad's day.
Okay, now
In my dad's day, it was toothless, didn't care what the hair looked like. They had black football cleats on, their socks would be down.
Okay.
None of this neon shit.
Are bull riders athletes?
Yeah.
So training your body to just sit on something.
Yeah, but they get,
But the bull does more of the work than the cowboy does.
well, it's a workout on the bull rider's butt and balls and whatever else is in the
Workout
way.
on Joey Chestnut's stomach and esophagus
No.
and his jaw muscles.
No.
And 2 hours later,
No.
his butt.
No.
His butt obviously takes a beating.
That's just gluttonous crap, literally.
Sorry, continue with your stampede. Agree to disagree.
Your ass backwards on that.
I can't work in these conditions.
Yes, so the Stampede has an acro dunk and freestyle soccer show at 2:30 and 6:30 in the BMO Kids Zone, the acrobatic slam dunk masters and freestyle soccer champs doing their thing. And there's also a soccer clinic at 7 p.m. every night. So get your kids down there, have some fun.
Even at the Calgary Stampede, where we have the rodeo and the chuck wagons and all these cow bros and actual cowboys out there, we're still finding soccer's growing in the city.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Down to the Calgary Stampede, we're having events to showcase this growing sport. You can say that it's not, like I was joking earlier, like little floppers and stuff like that. It is a serious sport. It's the number one sport in the world. You can try to compare it to any other sport, and you say, well, they don't do this, and well, hockey players, they do that. But like you said earlier, it's apples and oranges. Don't be late to get on this train. This sport's coming. It's already big with a lot of number of people in our town. And come out, support the Cavs, get into it. I understand it's not the same on TV, just like baseball. Baseball's far more fun in person. Everybody knows that than it is on the television, and so is soccer, I believe. Come on,
you cannot put Joey Doodah in the same box as Serena Williams. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, I went for my mammogram yesterday and I giggled all the way through it.
I don't understand how that has to do with sports.
I just like to throw him off every now and then, but I really did go for my mammogram yesterday. Go get your boobs squished when you need to, ladies. It's very important. Even though you get put in really, really odd positions and you get squeezed and pushed and shoved. And you kind of when they're squeezing down on the side and bye, Dan. We lost Dan. I'm so proud of myself. I actually made Dan speechless. Footy talk is done. Thank you.
Hey, it's Tony Tattoo coming at you. This is Bar Talk. I'm here with DJ Kaz and also Dan, the Rant Man Dan. All right, guys, we have a little bit of a residue discussion from your last footy talk, and apparently you guys don't see eye to eye on what a definition of an athlete is. So, Kaz, go.
Oh, for me, an athlete is someone who treats their body as a temple and works to be the best in their sport. And
basically,
what are you laughing at, Dave?
You basically just eliminated every single golfer. Well, no, there's a lot of golfers who treat body as a temple. There's a lot who don't. And what was the other thing?
Well, if I may jump in here, even though I'm not mic'd up.
Good.
Do you know how many pro athletes destroy their bodies with drugs and alcohol?
And
Yes.
And you're
steroids.
calling it temple
Steroids.
Yes, I do.
Let's
I do.
just-
But for me,
Let's just say anybody who wants to be an athlete can be an athlete.
no. I'm
Okay.
all right.
Okay, well, let her finish.
No, for me, see, I was raised with an athlete father.
Okay.
And my godfather was an athlete. And yes, they enjoy their drink. They didn't smoke, but they trained every day to get their muscles in tip-top shape and not stomach muscles to eat. And they would run and they would exercise and they would lift weights and do cardio so that they were able to be the best they possibly could be at their sport. And that's how I was raised. When I did anything athletic, which I did a lot of, there was none of this throwing down 6,000 calories a day and having a big belly while doing my sport. The best You get the best out of your body if you eat right, sensibly, you exercise, and then you practice your particular sport to become the best that you possibly can be. When you eat 1 million hot dogs, that's not a sport. That's ultimate in gluttony. Go.
Is a tightrope circus performer an athlete?
Do I think they're an athlete?
Yeah.
Yes, because you look at Nick Wallenda.
Okay, so tightrope, high wire act in a
Yes.
circus is an athlete because they train their bodies.
Yes.
And they are performing, but that's not a competition, but they do what they need to do to their bodies to make sure that they can compete at the level they believe they need to compete at. So in a recent survey, actually not that recent, this is quite an old survey, over 70% of NBA players anonymously said that they play high on marijuana. So while they're smoking marijuana, they are not taking care of their bodies.
No.
Are they athletes? Are NBA players athletes?
Well, they're athletes until they get found out.
Okay, so they're
And
athletes until you don't like what they're doing.
No, if it's cheating.
No,
To actually ingest drugs
No, but
while you're performing, that's cheating.
We're talking about a drug that decreases lung capacity and lung breathing capabilities. It's a hindrance on their physical body. Maybe not their mental, maybe it's a positive and that's why they do it. But their physical bodies are being hindered by marijuana smoke. So does that disqualify them in your category statistic? Like this is my checklist for an athlete. Would that not disqualify all 70% of the NBA?
No, they are athletes.
Oh,
Maria Sharapova is an athlete,
So
but
what about-
she was banned for a couple of years for using a substance.
May I inject for a second?
Sure.
Because then we can probably lay this subject to rest just for a second here. I think that sports athletes are two separate entities. Athletes play sports. I think that we should come up with a third option. That means do as many drugs and as you want, and at any sport you want. Have a whole section for people who pump up on steroids and whatever, and they compete at a superhuman level, and that would be to me, because sports really is entertainment, is it not? We watch sports to be entertained, do we not?
So what about, hold on, wait, I gotta get back.
No.
I'm sorry, I gotta get back.
No, I'm just saying that
Lance
it's like,
Armstrong.
Yep, I was thinking the same
What is
person.
he? What is he?
He was an athlete.
He was an athlete.
But
so my whole take is that, you know what, set a separate organization for people who like to amp themselves up on steroids and this and that. Let them go at it. Keep the real.
I see what you're saying, and I know you're having fun with it.
Totally.
That's kind of a side thing. But as far as Lance Armstrong is concerned, would he have won all those Tour de France's if he hadn't been on the...
So as soon as they cheat, they're no longer athletes.
I think it's a disgrace.
Now, I do not mean any disrespect, but there is not a single thing your family, your dad, ever did that was in a shade of gray area to gain a competitive edge on an opponent.
No, he wouldn't have done. In fact, I think possibly, and I'd have to ask him about this, the worst thing that he may have done is maybe had a few too many beers the night before a match, and he might have been a little bit... But I don't know that.
So
Knowing my dad,
okay.
he wouldn't.
Knowing your dad, he wouldn't. But he was, like you said, an athlete who consumed alcohol.
Yeah.
The damages from alcohol are well documented on
Yeah.
the physical body, whether it's weight gain, cirrhosis of the liver, dehydration.
Yeah.
So he can trash his body, and he's an athlete. These competitive eaters can trash their bodies in a competition, but they're not athletes.
No, I'm talking about illegal substances.
Oh no! I'm not talking.
I'm talking about Lance Armstrong, the Maria Sharapovas.
I'm not talking illegal substances either.
Okay.
You said an athlete body is temple, but you just said these guys are allowed to go out and drink alcohol. That's okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to actually jump in for 2 seconds and use my wield the leader of the shit show stick that I have to, and Calgary Stampede. So is it a rodeo, and are they athletes, or is it just a party where people get fucked up and drunk for 2 weeks?
The rodeo performers are athletes.
I'd have to say yes, because the thing is, I wasn't raised around cowboys, so I will not.
Any idiot can jump on a mad bull and try and ride it. Trust me, I've done it. It was not good. It was not a good result.
I would like to.
But did I consider myself an athlete at the time? No, I just considered myself fucking nuts at the time.
You got to do it for 8 seconds, and you got to do it consistently, and you got to do it against the best in the world.
Eddie the Eagle was an athlete.
Eddie the Eagle competed
again. Another nut bar, right?
Another nut bar who trained his body and competed in a competition that requires doing something physical.
Yeah. Listen.
Okay, so we're gonna have to actually. You know what I'd like to do is I would like to revisit this conversation.
Talk to us in the comments. Let us know what you
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, let's look up the definition athlete and sporting and sports and champions and all that stuff. So we can be we're kind of just pissing in the wind right now and going what we think, and that's fine. But let's look at the definitions, and then we'll come back with it.
Can I just say one thing?
Of course you can.
I understand what you're saying, Dan. I really get it. I don't agree with the Joey Chestnut thing at all. I think it's just gluttonous garbage, to be honest with you. But he's not hurting anybody. Go to town, enjoy, whatever. But we've talked about Robin Friday before. I was a little girl when he was playing, and he died at 38 because of his lifestyle. He was a drinker, he took drugs, he did everything, and that's the way he wanted to live his life. He was a naturally talented athlete, and that I agree with. The only thing I have a problem with is, people who deliberately do things to their bodies in extreme circumstances. It's like that hot dog eating contest. I just don't get it. That's it.
That's okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
That's okay.
You gonna let her have the last word? You'd be wise to.
No. The hot dog eating contest is born out of a sideshow act.
Yeah.
And
it's also promote Nathan's hot dogs.
It is a promotional stunt. It is a sideshow act. But
You think high wire?
I don't dispute that. It is a gluttonous act. It is a sideshow act. It is a freak show.
So it's kind of like, is Evel Knievel an athlete?
Yeah, but I don't.
No, the guy was nuts.
But I don't.
Okay, so let's fucking just call it what it is.
I don't want to detract from.
Could anybody do what he did?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And nobody can eat 70 hot dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, except the people who do that for
At
the thing.
rate.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit about. It's kind of a bit of a public service announcement that Kaz and I like to do. We actually saw ELO in Vancouver, Electric Light Orchestra. For all you kids out there who don't know what that is.
Service announcement is bragging that you got to see Jeff Lynne.
No, not at all. But you know what? Because that's a whole separate issue. Being to see Jeff Lynne in a brilliant situation. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to get into the absolute fuck up to actually get to see Jeff Lynne do his thing. That this guy did. No, WestJet.
Oh.
Love WestJet. Okay, but it just so happened that my license renewal came up. To renew your license, your driver's license.
Yeah.
Right. I never traveled with my passport in Canada. And so, I had my health card and everything else like that. And they gave me the interim paper license, stuck it in the car, and left it in the car, didn't keep it on me. public service announcement, kids, everybody, remember this. And also, it might be a good idea to show up an hour before your plane leaves, just in case foul-ups happen. I could take a beating on that one. Anywho, they accept 2 pieces of government-issued ID. I had one on me. I was giving them Costco cards. I was giving my Taekwondo ID card. I was giving this lady everything. She said, no, it has to be government ID. Okay, well, my car is parked in the fucking airport about 2 kilometers from here, and if I did a dash from there and back, whatever, would they hold the plane, blah, blah, no. Anyway, so Kaz went off in front of me. I took the next flight right after her. Point being,
You didn't wait for him?
you need 2. Oh no! Why would you do that? We'd have. You know what? The whole thing is, you got flights for how much? 2 flights.
Oh, it was one of the WestJet sales, so it was like.
It was like $100.
199.
$199.
Yeah.
$400 fucking dollars to jump on this next plane to get to fucking Vancouver to meet up with my wife, and in WestJet's in their favor. I mean, look. They have rules. They establish the rules. They follow the rules. If you don't follow them, you don't get to ride. But they also they plied her with vodka the whole way back to Vancouver, free of charge, I might add, because she was a bit on the distraught side. So big ups to WestJet. We would never travel Air Canada because they'd never do any kind of thing like that because they're Air Canada and they can't seem to get luggage from here and there. So now going on about the concert, which we
just a second. I literally got on the plane, Dan, and I looked at the flight. My husband didn't have his photo ID.
Just milking it, eh?
And this is the funny part.
Some vodka here.
And this is the funny part. So by the time we get back from our trip, it's like 2 days after we get back, I go to the mail and there's my fucking picture, license ID, and I'm going, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Are you kidding me?
It was in the mail.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, note to yourself that if you ever plan on traveling and you're doing a license renewal thing and you got the paper license, keep the paper shit on you. Wait till your fucking ID card and also carry your health card because they'll accept it. ELO, brilliant. Now I can rub this in your face. Jeff Lynne and that band, fucking phenomenal. They also had a warm-up act. They had Danny Harrison, which is the son of George Harrison, really his band. Good. And I had no idea who this guy was, and all of a sudden their band comes out. They open up for ELO, and I'm just going, "Fuck, this music is cool." Yeah. I told you, I said, "Fuck, Jesus, this is awesome," And then it's like
the best Beatle.
And also, it was like, well, this is the Danny Harrison band, and we look at each other, Danny Harrison.
Look at that. We looked up on the big screen. It looks just like
that. So there's a comparison with his picture and George Harrison, and it was like amazing. He opened up for them. He went on to do Travel of Wilburys song with Jeff Lynne, ELO.
Sweet.
It was awesome. So it was probably an experience of a lifetime to see
fantastic.
ELO
in there. It reminds me of a classic, one of my favorite bar questions. If you had 3 artists to pick to listen to for the rest of your life, who would they be? Now, so if I said Jeff Lynne, I would get ELO and the Traveling Wilburys.
Yep.
I don't get the rest of the guys in the Traveling Wilburys catalog, just what Jeff Lynne personally did.
Is that right?
Yeah. So Jeff Lynne would be one of mine.
That's weird.
And Slash, because I love Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver, Slash's Snake Pit, all of his solo stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe
Run.
Maybe Sting. Maybe Sting.
Sting? Mine would be easy. It would be like Van Halen.
Oh, no, not the band. You got to pick a single guy.
Oh.
So you'd either pick Eddie Van Halen, so you get all the Sammy Hagar stuff too, or you pick David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth.
So you get David Lee Roth solo stuff and only Van
not
Halen
to take away,
David
not to take away from Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar had his own gig. He didn't need Van Halen, and Van Halen needed him more than he needed Van Halen. Simple as that. Then there would be Bob Seger.
Nice.
Just solo Bob Seger.
Solo Bob Seger. Yeah. And third one, it would be No. Ah,
I think you'd be
I
the
think
same
I-
as me.
say what?
I think you'd be the same as me for the
What's up?
third one. Don Henley.
No, because we were covered in the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles. The Eagles would be.
So you get all the Eagles
Yeah.
stuff, and then you get Don Henley's dirty laundry.
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Or I would go the Beatles.
No, you can't.
You gotta pick
the
one
Beatles. You gotta pick
person.
one guy. You gotta
Oh,
give me a
okay.
name. So you could take George Harrison, which you get all the Beatles, George Harrison solo stuff,
Oh yeah.
and Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah. George Harrison. Yeah.
One of the Beatles is usually
Don Henley would be a fourth.
Paul McCartney.
Because I just love the Beatles. I think the Beatles.
Paul McCartney's up there because you get the Beatles and you get Paul.
Yeah.
And you get Wings and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who was didn't that come up recently that how Drake now has more hits on the music, the American music or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever he has
Billboard
more
or
hits.
whatever?
Billboard, yeah, Billboard charts. Thank you. And he dares, or anybody dares to compare him to the Beatles, on Billboard charts.
Ew.
Yeah, so he's.
It's
So,
a different-
can you name a Drake song?
It's a different time.
No.
There's more.
It is a different
there's more
time,
people
yes.
on the planet now. Music is more accessible to lesser. Sorry, no, I want to say.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
I want to say lesser countries, but countries that used to not have access to music.
There's more
now have
population.
Much more access. There's a higher population.
Yeah.
And singles are so important now. You look at the White Album. If that was released in today's, there'd be 8, 9 number one hits off of that one album. But they released it all at once, and that's not how the music industry works now.
Well, it was funny how Jeff
So-
Skunk Baxter had said.
wanna hear yours. I wanna hear
Jeff Skunk Baxter had said that in his day and age, right now, if he had recorded music, now that he wouldn't be able to get arrested with Jeff
My
Skunk
three?
Baxter.
Okay, your
Yeah.
three, real quick.
Don Henley,
Ooh.
Jeff Lynne,
Ooh.
Steve Perry.
Like,
Steve Perry,
it's
yeah.
like Journey, Steve Perry.
Yes.
Yeah, and you get and you get whole old Sherry. Yeah. Anyway, we'd like to thank you guys for joining us on Bar Talk and also my compatriots here. Great, lively discussion.
And we love each other.
Yeah, we did,
We have spirited discussions, but we love each other.
And the thing is, we don't
That was
always
a strong word.
and we don't always disagree with each other. So we're going to call it a day. Please join us for the conversations on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Watch us on YouTube, and we will see you next time. Hey, this is Tony Tattoo. This has been Wide Open YYC, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate your feedback more than anything, because we know actually that people are watching, and there's a good two-way communication. We will answer any kind of questions or get into a dialogue with you on anything that you may find positive or negative on the show. So tell your friends to watch us on YouTube. Join us for the conversations on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And remember, just be nice to somebody. Keep it between the ditches. And Fran Henderson.